Imagine walking through your garden gate and being greeted not by plastic pots, but by ancient, moss-covered stone artifacts that look like they've whispered secrets to the wind for centuries. Imagine the touch of cold, weathered textures under your fingertips, sculptures that hold life within them, standing timeless against the rain. Now, imagine creating this high-end, designer sanctuary yourself, using nothing more than a bag of sand and the magic of your own hands. Today, we aren't just gardening. We are carving dreams from stone. Welcome back to Home and Garden Borneo, where we turn the humble and the forgotten into the heart of your home. If you find peace in these whimsical transformations and want to build your own sanctuary, consider joining our growing family by subscribing. Here, we release a new curated series of garden magic every single week. Before we dive into today's journey, I'd love to know, where in the world are you watching from today? Tell me your city in the comments below. It helps our garden grow together. One, the Ancient Oak Urn. Imagine a vessel that does not merely hold a plant, but holds time itself. Picture a heavy, weathered chalice standing in the quiet corner of your garden, its surface etched with the deep, jagged scars of a mountain peak. It feels cold and grounded, a silent witness to 1,000 rainfalls. As you run your hand across its rugged exterior, you feel the gritty honesty of stone, softened only by the velvet touch of emerald moss creeping through its crevices. It is as if the earth itself reached up and shaped this bowl to cradle the life within. This is more than just cement and sand. It is a monument to the stillness we all seek. In its sturdy presence, we find a reflection of our own resilience, strong enough to endure the elements, yet gentle enough to nourish a delicate fern. It reminds us that beauty does not need to be polished to be precious. Often, it is the cracks and the weathered edges that tell the most beautiful stories of survival and grace. As the morning mist clings to its stone-like rim, it connects your modern sanctuary to the ancient soul of the forest, bridging the gap between what we build and what the earth provides. Now, let our eyes wander further into the greenery, where another stone whisperer awaits to reveal its secret form. Two, the Fossilized Tree Trunk Planter. Imagine stumbling upon a relic of the deep woods, a fallen giant that has spent centuries turning into stone. You see the intricate patterns of the bark, the deep grooves where life once flowed, and the hollowed heart where a new story is beginning to grow. This is not wood, but a fossilized whisper of the forest, handcrafted from the earth's own dust. As the sunlight filters through the leaves, it catches the silver-gray ridges and the warm, amber tones hidden within the cracks of the cement, creating an illusion so profound that even the birds might be fooled into perched upon its rim. There is a sacred rhythm in giving new life to something that looks like it has lived for an eternity. This planter carries the weight of memory, reminding us that even when something seems to have reached its end, it is merely waiting for a different form of existence. It stands as a testament to the cycles of nature, of growth, decay, and rebirth. When you plant a delicate vine within its hollowed center, you are witnessing a beautiful conversation between the ancient and the new. It is a grounding presence in your garden, a piece of art that invites you to slow down and listen to the silent heartbeat of the trees. As we leave the sturdy embrace of the forest floor, we lift our gaze toward a lighter, more ethereal dance of form and shadow. Three, the floating fairy cascades. Imagine a moment of pure magic captured in stone, a piece of silken fabric caught by a gentle breeze, frozen forever in a graceful, cascading dance. You see the soft folds and the elegant drapes that seem to defy the very weight of the cement they are made of. This is the floating fairy cascade, a planter that feels more like a sculpture of wind than a product of sand and water. It stands in your garden like a forgotten piece of a fairy's gown, dipped in a palette of soft, weathered whites and hints of iridescent pearl, catching the morning dew in every curve and hollow. There is a profound peace in seeing strength disguised as softness. This creation teaches us that we can be both resilient and graceful at the same time. It reminds us of the fluidity of life, of how we must learn to bend and flow with the seasons, just as these draped edges seem to sway in an invisible current. When you place a delicate, trailing flower within its folds, the petals spill over like a waterfall of color, creating a harmony between the solid and the ephemeral. It is a whimsical reminder that beauty often lies in the balance between the earth that holds us and the dreams that lift us toward the sky. As we move away from these ethereal folds, we find ourselves standing before the sturdy, silent ruins of an ancient world reclaimed by nature. Four, the weathered castle ruins. Imagine a tiny, forgotten fortress nestled in the tall grass of your backyard, a place where kings and queens of a miniature world once stood. You see the crumbling battlements, the uneven stones of a wall that has partially surrendered to time, and the sturdy foundation of a castle that refused to fully vanish. This is the weathered castle ruins, a planter crafted from cement but soulfully aged to look like sun-bleached limestone and ancient brick. Every crack and missing stone in its design is an invitation for nature to reclaim its throne, creating a sanctuary where a simple succulent becomes a grand forest growing atop a fallen empire. There is a strange, quiet beauty in things that are broken yet still stand. This piece speaks to the endurance of our own spirits, how even when we feel weathered by the storms of life, we still possess the strength to hold something beautiful within us. It reminds us that our cracks are not flaws, but the very places where life finds a way to take root. As you tuck a sprig of thyme into a gap between the stones, you are participating in a timeless dance of restoration. It is a whimsical sanctuary that turns a small corner of your yard into a gateway for storytelling, where history and horticulture breathe as one. As we leave these silent stone towers behind, we move toward a path where the earth's own jewels are woven into a spiraling melody of form. Five, the Spiral Pebble Path Pot. Imagine a path that never ends, a silver ribbon of stones winding its way around a mountain of earth. You see hundreds of tiny, smooth river pebbles, each one hand-selected for its unique shade of gray, white, and charcoal, pressed firmly into a spiral that draws your eye toward the sky. It is a mesmerizing dance of texture, the cool, polished surface of the stones contrasting with the raw, honest cement that holds them in place. This is the Spiral Pebble Path Pot, a creation that feels like a meditation in motion, a quiet monument to patience and the rhythmic beauty found in nature's smallest treasures. There is a profound sense of harmony in the way these stones sit together, each one a different shape yet part of a singular, perfect flow. It reminds us of our own journeys, how every small step we take, every pebble on our path, eventually builds a story that is uniquely ours. This planter is more than a home for your greens. It is a reminder to find order within the chaos and to appreciate the slow, deliberate process of creation. When the rain falls, the pebbles glisten like jewels, and the spiral seems to hum with a silent, ancient energy. It is a grounding anchor for your garden, a piece that invites you to breathe deeply and follow the winding path to peace. As our eyes follow the last curve of this stone melody, we find ourselves standing at the threshold of a new way to see the materials beneath our feet. Six, the Giant Leaf Impression Urn. Imagine the heavy, sun-drenched leaves of a tropical forest floor, their intricate veins and sprawling ribs captured forever in the heart of stone. You see every delicate line, every ridge where the rain once pooled, now etched with permanent grace onto the surface of a majestic urn. It is as if nature took a deep breath and pressed its fingerprint into the earth, leaving behind a fossilized memory that feels both massive and incredibly fragile. This is the Giant Leaf Impression Urn, a piece that brings the wild, untamed spirit of the Borneo jungle into the quiet sanctuary of your home, dressed in shades of deep forest green and earthy charcoal. There is a sacred stillness in preserving a moment that was meant to be fleeting. This creation reminds us to cherish the intricate details that often go unnoticed: the pulse of a leaf, the symmetry of growth, and the quiet strength found in the most delicate forms of life. It stands as a bridge between the living garden and the timeless stone, a reminder that we are all part of a larger, older story. When the afternoon sun grazes the textured surface of the urn, the shadows bring the leaves back to life, dancing in a silent, stony breeze. It is an invitation to pause, to look closer, and to find the extraordinary hidden within the ordinary. As we move past these fossilized leaves, we find our way toward a form that feels like a whisper from the deep, hidden caves of the earth. 7. The Druid's Sacred Bowl. Imagine stumbling upon a forgotten ritual site deep within a mist-shrouded grove. There, resting upon a bed of ancient ferns, is a vessel that looks as though it was carved from the very bones of the mountain. It is a wide, shallow bowl, its edges rough and uneven like a jagged cliffside, yet its center is smooth and welcoming. You see the deep, charcoal-toned cement infused with tiny glittering shards that catch the light like distant stars trapped in stone. This is the Druid's Sacred Bowl, a piece that doesn't just hold water or plants, but holds the very essence of silence and reflection. There is a profound connection we feel when we bring raw, unpolished elements into our sanctuary. This bowl reminds us that true power often lies in simplicity and the courage to remain unrefined in a world that demands perfection. It is a vessel for memory, a place where you can watch the rain collect or tiny birds bathe, connecting your spirit to the humble rhythms of the wild. As you place a single, vibrant floating blossom upon its dark surface, you are witnessing the eternal marriage between the heavy earth and the delicate life it supports. It is a grounding presence that whispers of ancient wisdom and the timeless bond we share with the soil beneath our feet. As the water in the bowl settles into a perfect mirror, we turn our gaze toward a structure that mimics the tangled, twisting strength of the roots that grow below. Eight, the Twisted Root Vessel. Imagine the silent, unseen world beneath your feet, where roots twist and turn in a desperate, beautiful struggle for life. Now, picture that hidden energy surfacing into the light, captured in a vessel that looks like a tangle of ancient, petrified wood. You see the deep ridges and the sinuous curves of roots that seem to wrap around the earth itself, holding the soil in a firm, stony embrace. This is the Twisted Root Vessel, a masterpiece of cement that mimics the raw power of a centuries-old banyan tree, its surface finished in warm wood grains and weathered mossy shadows. There is a profound lesson in the way roots find their path through the hardest soil. This vessel reminds us of our own foundations, the invisible strength that keeps us standing when the winds of change blow hardest. It is a celebration of the journey, the twists, and the turns that make our lives complex and beautiful. When you plant a cascading green vine within its knotted rim, it looks as though the plant is merely an extension of the vessel's own life force. It is a grounding piece for your garden, a reminder that to reach for the sun, we must first be deeply and beautifully rooted in the earth. As we untangle ourselves from these stony roots, we move toward a vision of light and shadow, where the earth's own layers are revealed in a stack of timeless beauty. Nine, the Moonlight Slate Urn. Imagine a mountain peak that has been slowly worn away by the night wind, leaving behind layers of silver and ash-gray slate. You see the sharp, thin ridges and the flat, smooth surfaces that stack upon one another in a perfect, natural rhythm. This is the Moonlight Slate Urn, a vessel that brings the quiet majesty of a moonlit canyon into the heart of your garden. Crafted from cement but layered with the precision of geological time, its surface catches the softest light, reflecting a cool, ethereal glow that seems to illuminate the greenery around it. It is a monument to the beauty of the slow and the steady, a piece that feels as ancient as the stars themselves. There is a profound sense of peace in the order of layers. This urn reminds us that our own lives are built layer by layer, experience upon experience, memory upon memory, creating a structure that is both complex and incredibly strong. It stands as a reminder that even the hardest stone has a story to tell, and that beauty is often found in the way we stack our days together to face the world. When you plant a soft, silver-leafed succulent within its layered rim, the contrast between the sharp slate and the living plant creates a harmony that feels both modern and timeless. It is a grounding anchor for your soul, inviting you to stand tall and layered against the passing of time. As we move past these silvery ridges, we find ourselves at the edge of a forgotten world, where the skin of a legendary creature has turned to stone. The Dragon Scale Planter. Imagine a secret buried beneath the roots of an ancient tree, where legend and earth merge. You see an unusual surface, hundreds of overlapping, symmetrical pieces, hard as stone yet patterned like the hide of a mythical creature that once soared through the clouds. This is the Dragon Scale Planter, a meticulously crafted work of cement, where each scale captures the light and shadow differently. With its deep bronze and faded copper-green hues, this pot looks like an ancient artifact recently unearthed from a forgotten cave, bringing an aura of protection and strength to your small garden corner. There is beauty in solid protection. This pot reminds us of the importance of having an outer layer of strength to safeguard the delicate life within. Like the dragons of folklore guarding treasure, this pot stands proudly guarding your plants, creating a striking contrast between the sharp texture of the scales and the soft, fresh foliage. As morning dew clings to the edges of its scales, it looks as if it has just awakened from a long slumber. It is a tribute to our imagination, a reminder that even in the simplest of gardens, magic always has a place to take root. With the dragon scale tail over, we now have 10 pillars of wonder ready to transform your yard into a timeless narrative about stone and life. The Sun-Baked Earth Vessel. Imagine a vast, desert landscape under the golden sun, where the earth has parched into a beautiful mosaic of deep, wandering cracks. You see the story of a long-awaited rain etched into the very surface of the ground, a texture that is both raw and resilient. This is the Sun-Baked Earth Vessel, a planter that captures that fleeting moment of natural geometry in permanent stone. Its surface is a network of deep fissures and earthy ridges, washed in warm ochre and terracotta tones that feel like they've absorbed the heat of 1,000 afternoons. It is a tribute to the desert's quiet strength, a piece that stands as a reminder that even in the driest seasons, life finds a way to hold on. There is a strange, rugged elegance in the broken ground. This vessel reminds us that our own dry seasons, the times of struggle and endurance, create the most intricate and beautiful patterns in our character. It is a celebrate of the thirsty soul that never gives up. When you plant a resilient, vibrant green cactus or a cluster of desert roses within its cracked rim, you are creating a living oasis that thrives in the face of hardship. As the sunset light catches the deep shadows within the fissures, the vessel seems to glow with a quiet inner fire. It is a grounding anchor for your garden, inviting you to find beauty in the cracks and strength in the stillness of the sun. As we move away from these sun-drenched patterns, we find ourselves drawn to the soft, rhythmic sound of water meeting stone. The Whispering Fountain Basin. Imagine a hollowed stone tucked away in a secret grove, where the only sound is the rhythmic, gentle heartbeat of water meeting rock. You see a basin that looks as though it was worn smooth by 1,000 years of mountain streams, its edges rounded and its soul deep and tranquil. This is the Whispering Fountain Basin, a creation of cement that feels like a quiet sanctuary for the spirit. Its surface is finished in a cool, slate gray with subtle ripples of deep blue, mimicking the way light dances on the surface of a forest pond. It is a monument to the power of softness over hardness, a reminder that even the most stubborn stone can be shaped by the persistent, gentle flow of life. There is a profound healing in the presence of water. This basin reminds us to find our own flow, to let the stresses of the world wash over us like water over stone, leaving us polished and at peace. It stands as a vessel for reflection, a place where you can watch the sky dance on its surface or listen to the delicate music of a small bird's visit. When you place a few smooth river stones at the bottom and let it overflow into the greenery, you are creating a living, breathing landscape that speaks to the soul. It is a grounding anchor that turns a simple corner of your yard into a temple of stillness, where every ripple is a whisper from the heart of the earth. As the echoes of the water fade into the evening air, we find ourselves standing before a structure that holds the weight of industrial ghosts reclaimed by the vine. The Industrial Relic Planter. Imagine a forgotten corner of an old shipyard, where heavy iron gears and rusted chains have long been reclaimed by the earth. You see a structure that feels like a ghost of the industrial age, its heavy cement body fused with discarded iron bolts and weathered metal plates. But there is a twist. The iron is no longer cold and gray. It has been painted with vibrant, soulful colors, turning a relic of toil into a celebration of creativity. This is the Industrial Relic Planter, a piece that tells a story of transformation, where the rigid strength of man-made materials finally learns to harmonize with the soft, wandering vines of the garden. There is a deep beauty in giving a second life to the broken and the used. This planter reminds us that our past experiences, even the ones that feel heavy or rusted, can become the foundation for something colorful and full of life. It stands as a bridge between the hard edges of our history and the blooming possibilities of our future. When you paint the iron accents in bright corals or deep forest greens, you are making a statement that growth can happen anywhere, and that even the most industrial heart can be softened by nature's touch. It is a bold, artistic anchor for your garden, a reminder that we are all works in progress, turning our shadows into a rainbow of light. As we leave these colorful iron ghosts behind, we find ourselves drawn to a shape that mimics the soft, protective shell of a secret hidden beneath the sea. The Petrified Shell Basin. Imagine a tide that receded millions of years ago, leaving behind a colossal, spiral shell tucked into the silt of a forgotten shore. You see the elegant, sweeping curves and the pearlescent ridges that have slowly turned into heavy, timeless stone. This is the Petrified Shell Basin, a sanctuary of cement that mimics the rhythmic architecture of the sea. Its surface is finished in soft, sun-bleached creams and sandy beiges, with subtle iridescent washes that catch the light like a secret hidden within a wave. It stands in your garden as a bridge between the vast, mysterious depths of the ocean and the grounded, nurturing earth of your backyard. There is a sacred geometry in the spiral, a symbol of growth and the infinite journey of the soul. This basin reminds us that even when we are far from the waters that birthed us, we carry the song of the sea within our bones. It is a vessel for protection and peace, a place where a delicate succulent or a cluster of white blossoms can find a sheltered home. When the rain fills its spiraled grooves, it creates a miniature sea that reflects the passing clouds, connecting your garden to the vastness of the sky above. It is a whimsical anchor that whispers of ancient tides, inviting you to listen to the silent echo of the waves and find your own center within the spiral. As we move past these stony sea spirals, we find ourselves standing before a form that captures the very breath of the mountain. The Peak of Serenity Urn. Imagine standing on the highest ridge of a mountain range, where the air is thin, pure, and the world below feels like a distant dream. You see a stone that has been shaped by the relentless touch of the clouds, a form that is sharp at its peaks yet incredibly smooth in its valleys. This is the Peak of Serenity Urn, a cement masterpiece that captures the essence of a mountain's soul. Its surface is finished in a majestic slate gray with white snow-capped accents, created through a delicate dry brush technique that mimics the frost of the highlands. It stands in your garden as a monument to perspective, reminding you that from a great height, even the most chaotic storms look like a beautiful, rolling mist. There is a profound clarity in the heights, This urn reminds us to rise above the noise of daily life and find the stillness that exists within the peak of our own spirits. It is a vessel for aspiration, a place where a hardy alpine plant or a crown of wild thyme can reach for the sun. When the first light of dawn touches the peaks of the cement, the urn seems to glow with a quiet, celestial energy. It is a grounding anchor that turns a simple corner of your yard into a sanctuary of high-altitude peace, inviting you to breathe deeply and remember that you, too, are capable of reaching the summit of your dreams. As we descend from these stony heights, we carry with us the silence of the peaks and the strength of the earth that holds them. The Petrified Basket Weaver. Imagine a hand-woven basket, crafted with care from the reeds of a quiet riverbank, suddenly touched by a mystical force that turns it into permanent stone. You see the intricate over and under patterns, the organic irregularities of the weave, and the sturdy rim that once held the harvest of the season. This is the Petrified Basket Weaver, a planter made of cement that honors the ancient art of the loom. Its surface is finished in warm, sandy ochres and sun-kissed browns, with a subtle dusty wash that highlights every single fiber of the petrified weave. It stands in your garden as a bridge between the soft, ephemeral crafts of the hand and the enduring strength of the earth. There is a sacred beauty in the act of weaving. This planter reminds us that our lives are also a complex tapestry of threads, some strong, some delicate, but all interconnected to hold the weight of our dreams. It is a celebration of patience and the quiet rhythm of creation. When you plant a soft, spilling herb like creeping thyme within its stony weave, it looks as though the garden is slowly reclaiming a forgotten treasure. It is a grounding anchor for your patio, a piece that invites you to appreciate the texture of time and the strength found in the things we bind together with love. As we move away from these petrified fibers, we find ourselves drawn to a form that mimics the protective, spiked beauty of the desert's guardian. The Cactus Armor Urn. Imagine a guardian standing at the edge of a sun-scorched canyon, wrapped in a protective suit of armor that tells the story of survival against the heat. You see a vessel covered in a rhythmic pattern of raised, sharp ridges, sturdy as a cactus, yet crafted from the very dust of the earth. This is the Cactus Armor Urn, a cement masterpiece that honors the fierce beauty of the desert's most resilient soul. Its surface is finished in a dusty, weathered sage green with highlights of sun-bleached white on every spine, making it look like an ancient desert relic that has stood firm through 1,000 sandstorms. There is a profound dignity in standing one's ground. This urn reminds us that sometimes we must build our own armor to protect the life and beauty we carry within. It is a celebration of the strength that comes from boundaries and the resilience that grows in the harshest environments. When you place a delicate, flowering succulent or a trailing silverleaf plant within its spiked embrace, the contrast creates a breathtaking harmony between the tough and the tender. It is a grounding anchor for your garden, a reminder that your strength is not a cage, but a sanctuary for the growth that truly matters. As we move past these protective ridges, we find ourselves drawn to a form that captures the layered, rhythmic dance of the ocean's tide. (18) The Tidal Ripple Basin. Imagine a beach on a quiet morning, just after a large wave has returned to the ocean's embrace, leaving a perfect rippled pattern on the wet sand. You see soft lines flowing rhythmically, creating a texture that seems to move even though it's made of cold stone. This is the Tidal Ripple Basin, a cement basin that captures the breath of the sea in tangible form. Its surface is finished in a cool grey-blue and a whitewash of surf foam at the edges of the waves, giving the impression that the water just touched it a second ago. There's a profound peace in seeing something flowing yet still. This basin reminds us that life is all about ebb and flow, and that every incoming wave, no matter how large, always leaves a trail of beauty in its wake. It's a symbol of serenity amidst change. When you plant silvery succulents or tiny flowers in the center of the basin, you create a small island in the vast ocean of stone. It's a calming anchor for your garden, inviting you to take a deep breath and let the calm of the stony waters clear the noise in your mind. As the ripples of this stone bring us to tranquility, we now turn to forms that capture the power of sunlight trapped in the texture of the cracked earth. (19) The Sun Drenched Mosaic Urn. Imagine a shattered rainbow falling onto a bed of wet stone, its fragments gathering in a dance of light and shadow. You see a vessel where the rugged, honest texture of cement is interrupted by 1,000 tiny whispers of color. Shards of glass, bits of old tile, and smooth river stones, all woven together like a story of many lives. This is the Sun Drenched Mosaic Urn, a planter that celebrates the beauty of being broken and then put back together with purpose. Its surface is finished in a warm, sandy cement tone that acts as a quiet stage for the vibrant sparkles of teal, amber, and gold that catch the sun's direct kiss. There is a profound joy in seeing how fragments can form a masterpiece. This urn reminds us that our own lives are a mosaic of different moments, some bright, some muted, but when held together by the strength of our spirit, they create a vision that is breathtakingly unique. It stands as a testament to the fact that nothing is ever truly lost, only transformed. When you place a lush, trailing jasmine within its speckled rim, the white blossoms seem to echo the bright shards on its surface. It is a radiant anchor for your garden, a piece that invites you to celebrate your own colorful history and find the light in every broken piece of the journey. As the sun plays across these colorful fragments, we find ourselves moving toward the final form, a structure that captures the very breath of a fossilized forest. (20) The Ancient Forest Sconce. Imagine an ancient tree trunk that has stood since the beginning of time, now slowly turning to stone but still holding a secret warmth within its heart. You see the rough texture of the bark and the deep natural cracks, rendered in cement yet so alive. This is the ancient forest sconce, a vessel that not only houses plants but also captures light through its cracks. Its surface is finished in a deep dark brown with a touch of bronze in its curves, giving the impression that the wood has absorbed centuries of sunlight. There's a magic that happens when darkness falls and shadows lengthen. This vessel reminds us that amidst the roughness of life, there's always room for a small light to illuminate our path. It's a symbol of undying hope. When you place a small solar lamp in its texture or plant a night owl at its top, it glows with a calm and soothing aura. It's a night watchman for your garden, a timeless piece of forest history, inviting you to sit for a moment in silence and feel the warmth radiating from within the stone. With the end of this ancient forest story, our journey of 20 ideas is complete. Now, your yard is more than just soil and plants, but a gallery of dreams we've formed together from cement and love. As the sun sets over our creations today, remember that a garden isn't defined by the money you spend, but by the love and soul you pour into its soil. These stone whispering pots are just the beginning of your story. May your hands be busy, your mind be at peace, and your garden always be a place of wonder. Thank you for spending this time with me at home and Garden Borneo. I'll see you in our next whimsical adventure next week.